We just got some news that could have crazy implications on the game, and this news revolves around raids. A few days ago, one of the devs on stream said it's very likely that the next raid will actually have some sort of pity system. Now, let's unpack exactly what that means and exactly what raids have done for the game and what they're really lacking, because there's a lot to talk about before we even get into the pity system. For one, the way raids are basically designed, you need to be in a guild, you need to unlock a raid gate, and then after that you can actually farm these fairly hard bosses. They used to be harder, but fairly hard bosses, and you get gear. Right now, let's say that I wanted to get the fire robe of the void on the fire, right? But I got the deadly robe of the void. Right now, there is no system in place where I could make that void robe into something that I could actually use. Now, at this point, you guys have probably noticed, right, that they do have a way for you to not endlessly farm theoretically by actually adding a pity system in other parts of the game. For example, right, in Novus, you could actually make Aeon boots by crafting them through using a bunch of masterpiece boots. And I think they could easily add a similar feature in this crafter so that basically, right, you know, just like how they have a feature where you can upgrade from 150 to 160 gear, there should be a way to basically side grade from one school of gear to another school of gear. If they can manage to do that, I think that itself would solve a fundamental issue with raids, which is the fact that you could literally farm a long time extra for just one drop. That's crazy, but it happened. For me, getting the nullity blade on the fire took literally forever compared to every other drop. I got every drop before I got this, which is ridiculous because this is the highest pierce wand on a pierce school, and I think that's ridiculous that I probably had most of the gear that I needed, like, you know, 30 runs in, and then I needed to do close to 100 runs just to get this one piece of gear. I cannot stress enough how important that is because I think it'll lower burnout. It'll probably encourage people to actually farm with players that are maybe a little less experienced. It'll essentially free up time so that people that are done farming can actually form more of a helping role instead of just going crazy and try hard in order to get their gear that they need. Now, raid gear is a very controversial topic right now because right now raid gear is the best gear that gives shat champ. If you want that really important stat right now, you basically need to do raids. And because the upcoming raid is probably going to follow the same template as the nullity gear and the void gear, that probably means what you'll see is decent utility gear with high shat champs, which is something that everyone who does PvP and everyone who wants a good PvE setup will want to do. What I do hope they don't do with the pity system is repeat what they did with Novus. This is still one of my least favorite updates to this day, and every time a pity system is brought up, I will bring up this example because I still think that the actual amount that you have to farm to get something just because you got unlucky is just stupid. For example, right, let's say that I wanted the Aeon theme for balance, right? The fact that if I just got unlucky against the boss where you farm it, if I get unlucky and don't get this specific drop, that I need 9 masterpiece of themes that aren't even guaranteed to drop every time, that's crazy. If they're gonna keep a number like 9 drops, like let's say that you need, I don't know, for example, 9 void robes that aren't fire to make a void robe that is fire, well then you have a repeat of the issue that you're trying to avoid, right? I think this isn't an issue that is talked about enough. But like, let's say that you have to do a ton of extra runs to get the drop that you want, right? And let's say that you want to do a raid and you want to do that. What's going to happen is it's going to get really grindy. You're not going to really want teams that mess up a lot. And it's going to create a system more and more where extremely hardcore players gatekeep the hell out of the raid from more casual players. And considering this gear is so important for PvP, it literally makes it so that casual players just cannot involve themselves in PvP beyond a certain rank. Once you get above veteran, and you don't have shad rating gear, it is just hard to compete. You'll just get out-shaded. It's not complicated. So to me, I hope that the pity system just doesn't involve a number like 9. I hope it's like 3 or 4 drops maximum. And hopefully the content is hard enough to justify something that is that, like, you know, like it's not as punishing. What I really hope they do is they make a raid where it isn't actually as possible to get 100% win rate across a bunch of runs. Right now, if you use a raid key, you can get 7 successful runs in a gate, maybe more, which is cool and all, but what it used to be was that, you know, like, let's say you did 6 runs, maybe you would get like 3 or 4 successful ones. Maybe the best of the best of the best teams could get perfect win rates. But right now, all raids really are is you just go on your high damage character, you put on a Dragoon amulet, right? And you just spam an AoE. That's literally all you have to do in raids right now. So hopefully they make it challenging enough where it goes beyond something like, you know, farming a Novus boss repetitively competitively. And hopefully if they do have a pity system, what it does is it gives you the ability to craft stuff without too many runs extra. In this crafter, I'm trying to see, like, you know, balance robe with a nullity. Oh, you need 3 nullity robes, a few pixels, and a few polygons. There you go, you can craft it. I've also heard so many ideas that hopefully they do incorporate into the next raid, like things that, you know, actually encourage players from different parts of the game to engage with raid. It'd be really cool if there was a side boss that dropped Lunari, so that if you're, like, you know, into Beast Moon or something, you get an added advantage. One thing I would personally love to see are more items that actually help you do the raid itself. I feel like the lack of energy elixirs from raids is kind of crazy, because you do need cantrips to open the actual damn portal. But beyond opening this portal with energy, there's also, you know, certain strategies that are just better. And, you know, if a boss is challenging, using cantrips to actually get around it, that's not a crazy idea. And yet these don't really drop energy elixirs whatsoever. So I think the elixir drops, though they do exist, like if you do the side boss in the current raid, yeah, it exists. I don't think it's good enough to actually justify doing the raid for the elixir. Beyond things like Lunari and elixirs, it would be really cool to get stuff like Stitch tokens and other things that, you know, are more like, you know, related to more recent updates like Rate My Stitch. And finally, also, I think they need to add rare treasure cards that drop regularly from raid. This is, again, something that I don't think we actually get a lot of these days. You don't really get dungeons that you can actually just get cool treasure cards that are rare. You used to be able to do like the 5 boxes event for like a free TCs. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it would be cool if they added like that type of element, not with a free TCs, mind you, but like, you know, certain treasure cards that are just rare, maybe new and unique, that are, you know, relevant to the raid itself and the contents of it. Stuff like that would actually, like, you know, actually make people that, you know, collect TCs, or maybe they want to do PvP with those TCs. It'll give them a reason to do raids beyond just getting the gear and stopping after that. The idea, though, that I want to make clear is that the more reasons you give people to do raids regularly, and the more of a pity system that you have that actually, like, you know, resolves the grind, the more you'll have people helping each other actually do the raids themselves. There will be less toxicity, less burnout, and less controversy over the gear in general. And if no other point is made in this video, I hope that point is clear. I feel like they need to make it so there isn't a cultural difference when it comes to people who do raids and people who don't do raids, because that's creating division in the community that I don't think needs to exist over a feature that I truly believe in the long term is actually going to do good for the game. I want to hear y'all's opinions about raids in general. Are y'all excited about the raid that's coming over the summer? And was the pity system one of the things holding you back? And maybe now you're actually more excited than you were before. Definitely a topic worth discussing, because I think this is going to be the next really big update in Wiz. I think it's going to be dropping in test run, like, you know, in the next few months. I'm excited, y'all. So let me know what you guys think. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something. I'll see y'all soon. Stay awesome, y'all. And yeah, y'all.